If you want a high-paying job in the tech industry that does not require coding, then stick around because I'm going to share with you 3 of the top-paying jobs that are in the tech industry that don't require coding, that are still technical and high-paying. So let me get right to it. Actually, before I do, let me first introduce myself. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jillian Ford. I currently work as a startup solutions architect at AWS. But this video and this whole channel that I have on YouTube has nothing to do with my work at AWS. So all my opinions on all these videos are strictly my own. I'm here I just want to be able to really help you to be able to get that job that you find that's fulfilling, and also have more clarity on different trends that are happening in the tech industry so you can really find the job that is most fulfilling and really pays you what you absolutely deserve. So now I will definitely get to it. So all the jobs that are going to be the highest paying in the tech industry that are individual contributor jobs, meaning they are not managerial jobs, those are definitely going to be engineering roles. So your software engineer, your data scientist, your machine learning engineer, your DevOps engineer. But it's definitely not worth forcing yourself to learn those skills if you know that it's something that is just not going to be fulfilling for you because you know you've tried them and you really don't enjoy it. Because no amount of money is going to take away from the fact that if you're in a job that you just aren't fulfilled with and that you hate, it is not going to be worth it. I just want to caveat that at the beginning that those jobs are definitely going to be the highest paying, but if you know that you're not going to enjoy those types of jobs, it is absolutely not worth doing it. So now let me share with you of the 3 other types of tech jobs that are out there that really can pay you very well. And I'm not going to give you actual numbers of what those job salaries are going to be. There's a lot of resources out there that you can go and look for yourself. And the reason why I'm not is because it really depends on, one, if you are looking for working in like a big tech company, because bigger tech companies, think of Meta, Amazon, Apple, Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google. Those are definitely going to pay the highest across the industry, and other bigger companies that are like that are publicly traded, stock companies, some tech companies that are publicly traded on the stock market. Those are going to pay the most. But that doesn't mean that they might be in industries or doing the types of things that you find the most fulfilling. So even if you were to go and work at like a startup, maybe you wouldn't be getting paid as much as you would be if you were at one of those bigger tech companies. You still would be getting paid well compared to other types of jobs that are out there, and you're still going to be getting so many other different skills, a lot of growth opportunities, and maybe it's in an industry that you might find more exciting. So really do your research on and think about first what is most important to you. Is it really the salary that's number one? Is it doing something what are the areas that are most fulfilling to you? What are the industries that are most exciting? And find something that intersects all of those different categories to help you be able to find the actual job in the company that is most going to be fulfilling to you. So now let me get on to the 3 different types of jobs that are in the tech industry, don't require coding, that are going to be high paying. So the first one, and this is actually, I'm putting this in order of highest salary potential versus the lowest. And all of these are non-managerial positions, because leadership positions that take you up to director, being in the C-suite, those are definitely going to be the highest paying. But these are really for if you're maybe just starting out, you're switching careers, your first job out of college. These are the jobs that you're going to want to consider. So the first is going to be tech sales. Now, tech sales, this is common in B2B types of companies. So businesses that are selling to other businesses, usually they're selling their software. And the term is software as a service. There's a ton of those different types of companies out there. So for example, Amazon Web Services, the company that I work for, they are a B2B type of software as a service type of company. They also, not just software as a service, but that is just one example. Stripe, for example, is a B2B software as a service type of company. So those kinds of companies, Salesforce being another one as an example, those are B2B type of companies that usually need people who are selling their product to other businesses. And those types of positions can be very lucrative. The way they usually work is that you start out with a smaller base salary, and you're able to then get commissions for selling the actual products, or maybe if there's certain other bonuses that are happening, maybe there's certain other sales incentives. It always varies based on the company. So this is something that you're going to want to do your research. If you find a tech sales type of position, ask someone, find someone on LinkedIn who has that role, so you can get a better idea of how the pay structure works, because it's something that kind of varies company to company. But overall, that's how it works. You got a base salary, and then there is a certain type of commission structure. And it's with that commission structure where there is really huge upside, and you can be able to make a lot of, you can definitely be able to take home a lot more compared to other types of roles. And even in some cases, you could take home more than a software engineer is actually going to be making. So that's definitely something you want to look out for. In terms of like just some examples of I've heard of other people in different companies who've brought home anywhere from 350,000, 500,000, sometimes 700,000. So it, again, really depends on the company, what their base salary commission structure is. So do your research. The different types of roles that are out there, they might be called like account executive, account manager. Those are kind of the usual terms that are used to describe those job roles. So tech sales is definitely one. But you also, for that type of role, you have to be someone who really, I guess, is driven by wanting to hit those numbers, because your base salary is going to be lower, but there is more potential upside. Some people don't like the fact that there is a lower salary number, and they get nervous about having that pressure to hit a number. So if that's you, the other two options I'm going to share next don't have that type of salary structure. So the next one is product management, and this is common in B2C types of companies, so businesses that are selling to different consumers. Oops, there we go. That was my alarm. So businesses that are selling to other types of consumers. So think of, for example, maybe in like Meta, for example, the actual Facebook product, or maybe Instagram, the actual Instagram product, where they are trying to acquire users, and their revenue model is then ads and based on ad revenue. That's just one example. So what a product manager is someone who is, you can think of as like the CEO of that product. So they are the person who is really responsible for coming up with the roadmap of what are the different features that need to go into this product, being able to measure the results of those features, and then deciding what's working, what isn't, with the goals of maybe driving more users to sign up for the product, more retention of that product. Those are really kind of the main real metrics, I would say. And there may be others. If there are others that you can think of, certain, or that you hear of, definitely drop them in the comments. But that's essentially at a high level of what product management is. And then the third one is being a solutions architect, which is a role that I'm in. And this is, actually, wait, there's something I want to add about product management. So product management, one of the plus sides of going into product management as a career is that it's something that is very, it's a very common job. Like every single type of tech company has a product management type of role. So it's something that if you get into and like the idea of maybe bouncing around different companies, or you want to be able to explore what's out there, there's going to be plenty of options and opportunities to be able to do that, because it's something that every single tech company has as a job function, pretty much. Tech sales is only going to be something that is in like B2B types of businesses. So for example, even let's take the example of Facebook, where Facebook, they are selling ads to businesses. So that's really their revenue model. So there might be a tech sales type of person who is, or not, who is selling the advert and big advertising contracts for Facebook. I know within Amazon Web Services, yes, there are tech sales types of jobs, but it's something that's not necessarily in every single type of tech company. So now on to the third one that I was saying, which is a solutions architect. So this term, solutions architect, actually varies based on the different companies that you are looking at. But it is something that's, you can find it sometimes in big, it's mainly either in B2B types of businesses. So those that are trying to help other customers adopt their products and services, and it requires a technical understanding of how systems work at scale. Scale meaning that there are a lot of users who are using the actual product and service all at once, and having to think about things like, well, what happens if there is like a disaster, like a hurricane in one side of the world? How do we make sure that this website is up and running all the time? Just as a very simple type of example. So that is really, and it can also based on maybe if you go to a different type of company, some places there's a little bit of engineering, but you're not an engineer that's required, that they'll actually go in and kind of help implement the actual product into a business, because there might be some other technical complexities that are required to implementing something. So for example, like Stripe has software like solutions architect, but for them, it's more about implementing the actual payment system into other businesses, which is a very critical aspect to a lot of businesses, is payments. That's how they make their money. So it really depends. You'll have to do your research across it, but this is a kind of role that you generally are going to like if you're someone that likes the technical problem solving, coming up with a solution to a problem. And you like to work with people. You like the idea of being kind of in a sales type of position where you are working with other customers, and you're doing a lot of talking a lot of times of the day because you're talking to a lot of people, you're talking to a lot of customers. So it's very similar to sales in that respect. And usually in companies, it is a job that is aligned with the sales function, because those two kind of work hand in hand, where the solutions architect is the technical counterpart to the sales person. So they work together. But of course, it varies depending on the different companies that you are looking at. And especially if you are looking at a bigger enterprise and it's a solutions architect, usually those will be their role will be like example could be like a Capital One, or maybe like an Apple, where if you there have a solutions architect, something to run Apple, that product have millions of users that are all using it at the same time, and making sure that like Apple, for example, is always up and running. That requires people who are really understanding how does the system work, all the different aspects of the actual architecture of the big system, and and working with different teams internally. So that's just an idea of what the difference is between working as a solutions architect. If you're at a bigger enterprise, it's all going to be internal types of communications for the most part. Maybe you're working with other vendors. And then if you are in a B2B type of business as a solutions architect, you are then going to be working with customers on helping them adopt those types of technical solutions, the products that that company is selling. Solutions architect, as a caveat, it's a less common job compared to a product management type of job. But at the end of the day, it's really all about finding something that really interests you and trying it out. And of course, with any of these kinds of jobs, it's very common for people to try one and then switch to another if you don't really like it, or just maybe you do one for a couple of years, go on to a different one. Maybe you go into management, but really what my intention is at the end of the day, don't overthink and stress about which role that you have to go into. I know a lot of people think that you have to pick one, and if you have to make that choice right the first time, and if you don't, then oh my God, the world's over. I've made a wrong choice. And that is absolutely not the case. So make sure that you, yes, do your homework. Please leave comments in this video if you have questions, if there are other different topics related to this that you want me to go over, and I will create a video on it. But at the end of the day, don't overthink it, because you can always start at one, get some things from that experience, and then go on to another different type of job that is high paying. So again, leave comments in this video if you've got questions, anything that you want me to go over. My goal is really to help you be able to find a career that is fulfilling and give you clarity on what is happening in the tech industry. All right, see you next time.